and hedging instrument are followed in other comprehensive income. Remember, the purpose of such stuff is to inform your stakeholders. Could be shareholders, debt holders, anybody. Uh, Derivative instruments for speculative purposes are either recorded at their fair value if they are like options, or in comprehensive income. For speculative purposes, you have, let's say, 100 short contracts on Fed funds futures. You're just speculating that interest rates are going to go up a lot more than market thinks it will. If you made, if you made money and the contract expired during the accounting period, that's not a problem. You made money, you're going to record that. But if the position is still open at the end of the accounting period, in the old accounting standards, you don't have to do anything at all. But there's a change in the fair value of that, so you have to report that in comprehensive income. Technically speaking, they're not part of income statement because you haven't realized anything, but they are indeed part of comprehensive income. The idea behind hedging, behind accounting for such derivatives, is to meet the matching principle and recognition principle. Because one of the things that we care a lot about in accounting is to match expenses and revenues to the periods in which they happen. For example, estimating a value for executive stock options and amortizing that value over the vesting period is done because of that principle. I'm giving those options as compensation for the work they're going to do during the vesting period. Okay. They're giving me something. They're working for me. So them working for me presumably contributes to revenue generation. But before 2006, you didn't have to do anything. I mean, those guys are actually contributing to your revenues. For example, do you know how in 2006, CEO of Google was one of the Google guys, I think Sergey. You know what his salary was? Fixed salary, $1. He got rest of his compensation in, executive stock options. So that guy, if you're not accounting for those executive stock options, he's working for you as a CEO. And if you look at the books, it costs you only $3 during those 3 years, during the vesting period. Obviously, he contributed a lot more. At least we'd like to think that he's contributing a lot more to the revenue. Whether or not that's the case is besides the point. Attribution of revenue to individual employees is hard, but I haven't written off any expense for his effort. That's why right now you have to write those as amortize the value of the granted options over the vesting period. It's basically delayed compensation. That is the idea. Otherwise, who cares? I mean, eventually, you do write them off. Unfortunately, even for those, any changes in the value of those executive stock options are not recognized anywhere. So you grant them at when the stock price was 10. In 4 years, it went to 100. I mean, those stock options are worth at least $90 now. Okay. And at the time, maybe they were worth 5, 10, I don't know, 8. But now they're worth a lot more. But none of that is recognized until those are actually exercised. When somebody exercises a stock option with a strike price of $10, when the stock price is 100, company immediately recognizes $90 of loss before taxes. But the trouble is that loss happened over 5 years, let's say. But I have recognized only $10. Let's say at the somebody smoking? I don't know. Maybe I'm smelling myself. I smoke in the car. Let's say at the time of the grant, those options were worth $6. So I recognize only $6 of expense, but I should have recognized 84 more. But suddenly it creates unnecessary variability in the earnings. Obviously, that $84 of loss didn't happen overnight. It happened over however long that period was since granting. Think about the options that Elon Musk had to exercise last year. The stock was around $300, and we found out that exercise price was about $3 or so on those. So that suddenly there is $297 worth of loss that's recognized. The trouble is those happened over 10 years. So they should have been recognized as they happen, but they're not. In fact, such unrecognized losses are called option overhang. For certain companies whose stock price moved a lot, it could be a significant amount. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I will post those 2 PDFs and ask you to write a short summary for each. And no class this Wednesday. I have a doctor's appointment at that time. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it earlier or later. But we'll meet on Monday, and I'm going to start talking about especially ASC 815, with examples how to account for different types of hedging. I'll see you guys Monday.